Hi everybody, how's it going? It's Jackson. Welcome back to the weekend vendors for the 2nd of May. As always, you can find time codes in the description if you just want to jump straight to the file all stuff, or if you just want to jump to the Scholarium scripts that are available this week, so I'll run through them as well. But yeah, first I'll just quickly discuss something else, and then I'll get into the golden vendor. I just want to first point out that there is a huge fucking golden pursuit. This is the biggest one I've seen. There's 40 options. There's 53 available, so you can skip some. It's gonna take a fucking while. I don't know when I'll be able to make a video for this, if I even do. There's so much shit. I haven't done this like night market before. I didn't do it on PTS, sorry. So yeah, I'll do this as much as I can, but I tried to do it a few like last couple of days, and I don't know what's going on, but it's so fucking barren anytime I actually try to do it. Like I probably saw like 3 players tops in one of the instances I tried. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's just a ghost town right now, and the bosses are fucking difficult to do on your own. Like I don't even think I can do any of the bosses on my own. 'Cause yeah, I've been playing this game for a while, but I'm not like fucking solo night market level by the looks. So yeah, I'll see what I can do there, but I don't know. It's weird. I just can't find anyone to do things. Like I probably found 5 bosses in the night market, and there was not a single boss being fought. Like nobody was fighting anything. There was like 1 tank fighting a bunch of regular mobs, and that's the only combat I ever saw people doing. So it's pretty weird. I'll see. I'll keep trying. Maybe the weekend will have more people, but yeah. I do know for a fact that invisibility works on pretty much everything. There were a few bosses that could see me through invisibility. Some couldn't though, and basically none of the enemies. There are some environmental things which you can't, like invisibility can't help you through. But it is possible to do the main quest for your chosen faction. As far as I'm aware, that with the Thousand Eyes faction, I was able to. Personally, I think when you choose a faction, you should choose this one. It doesn't make a huge impact, but this faction is so far ahead of the other ones, so you'll guarantee to get a lot of rewards, like better rewards for the end of the season thing. Whereas if you choose the other ones. But in those cases, it depends. Like you'll get some of the stuff like related to that, the monster helm, and like there's a different die for each of them. So I'd advise going to check whatever the ESO hub or whatever the like event guides on Google are, and just have a look at what the rewards are and how to do it. But yeah, this one you can absolutely do solo without basically fighting anything. There will be a couple of instances where, especially like the one I tried here, there will be enemies around the objectives. But if you have invisibility, you can quickly interact with the item, and before you die, it'll complete the quest, like complete the objective. So yeah, that is possible. The dailies and like some of the dailies were like kill some enemies and stuff, so I don't know how well you'd be able to do those without like a dedicated group. I'll try and do more of that stuff and get some more information on that. But yeah, I do apologize. It will probably be some time before I can get anything serious out for this. Alright, without further ado, let's go into the golden vendor. So we've got Maarselok and we've got Stone Husk. Necklaces, helms, 2 DLC helms. I think it's one of the few times where actually buying the helms for 100k gold is like fair enough, because these might be DLCs that you might not own. Oh, sorry, this might be a DLC you don't own, or like in Lair of Maarselok's case, this fucking dungeon is so long. So if you don't want to deal with that shit and like deal with the veteran version, I can totally understand. Maarselok is good. Basically, do a heavy attack, creates a cone basically at your feet, like in front of you, deals disease damage over time, very short, and like quite a lot of disease damage that ramps up based on how many negative effects the enemy has. Now in PvP and in public dungeons, I think this set is actually really good. For gankers, it's really strong, especially if you can grab, I don't know, maybe like 1 charged dual offhand, and then get like a couple of like physical damage or like flame poison damage glyphs, because they can apply stats effects like all in a quick succession, stuff like that. Can be very strong for PvP in that case. is it a... It just says melee heavy attack. I don't know if that means... like, I don't know if you can do a medium attack. I'm pretty sure you can. And I'd advise doing it in that case. But, like, public dungeons, it sounds great, because most of the time, you're going to be sprinting around trying to find some enemies to fight, or, like, chests to open. And in those cases, you'll probably lose a bit of stamina sprinting around, so you can probably just heavy attack at the start, get some stamina back, and then it applies Maarselok straight away, and you just deal a bunch of damage to a bunch of enemies. And disease damage, the status effect applies damage to like a little area, so just AoE damage, and then you just get AoE damage on the top. Seems okay. So yeah, Maarselok's pretty good. Not my first choice, especially since the life of Maarselok's so long, but yeah, it's pretty strong. Stone Husk. This is another heavy attack set, nowhere near as valuable, I think, as Maarselok. Basically, heavy attacks, it isn't melee heavy attacks, but the tether is, like, really short. So, I mean, it's just out of melee range. So, like, heavy attacks out of that will probably be useless anyway. But yeah, they create a tether. It deals physical damage to enemies in the tether. Not 100% sure if this works on the enemy that it's tethered to. I'm pretty sure it does. But yeah, they add stacks of Husk Train. And when the stacks are, when the tether ends, the stacks you have gives you weapon and spell damage for 5 seconds. But the weapon and spell damage is only available at 50% max uptime. So yeah, I don't know, like, not sure, well, not even then, because the tether, yeah, the tether lasts 5 seconds, right? So yeah, it is 50% uptime, my bad. So, yeah, not great, and the physical damage is pretty and like the problem is trying to get that tether on multiple enemies to get enough stacks, because you can only get one stack a second off an enemy. It's getting, like, when you hit the enemy to put the tether on you, usually you're hitting the guy in front of you, and most of the time they're usually still going to be the person in front, so sometimes getting the tether to hit everyone's weird, and you got to reposition and shit. But just a lot of work for realistically that doesn't give you a whole lot. There's just much better sets than this out there. There's much better heavy attack sets, like fucking Maarselok, for example. So yeah, I just wouldn't really use this myself. One of the sets from the night market is actually a heavy attack set that I think is worth much more than this. Because yeah, there's one of them, it puts like a big AoE and like major brittle on all the enemies in the AoE. It's just fucking crazy good. Okay, so yeah, I just wouldn't suggest this. Stone Garden, also quite a long dungeon, but I wouldn't bother, personally. Alright, now I've got to be real with you. All 4 of these necklaces are forgettable. Like, I wouldn't suggest looking at any of these things. So firstly, Eternal Vigor. This used to be good. Basically gives you resources, like resource recovery at high health and health recovery at low health. Like I said, it used to be pretty good and an easy to use sustain set for PvP, but health regen was nerfed now that Major and Minor Defile reduce your health recovery. And also a set called Wretched Vitality exists, which is a crafted set, which when you apply a major and minor buff, it gives you a bunch of health and stamina recovery. It doesn't give you any health recovery, but as I said, health recovery is not as good as it used to be, so I don't really think this set is worth anymore, because Wretched Vitality allows you to use any armor set, you can use any traits, anything, so I just personally wouldn't use this. Like, you know, you can retrait these, obviously, but it's heavy armor, and whereas you could use medium or light armor if you want on Wretched. So yeah, this one's just constricting, not as good, and yeah, just forgettable in this day and age. Okay, Radiant Bastion. Reflect damage, direct damage back at the enemy that hits you with it. Now, on paper, this sounds really cool. Like, fucking Thornmail, basically, from League of Legends or whatever. In reality, this set is absolute shit. It is completely irrelevant. Firstly, the damage that's reflected back is applied after your block and armor mitigation is applied. So, say you get like 10,000 damage, it'll go down to probably like 6,000 from your armor, 3,000 from blocking, 5,000 from blocking, 3,000 or 2,000 from armor, and then that damage is reflected back. For you to do 4,000 from a single direct damage attack. You have to get hit so hard that it'll basically one-shot you. So that is not viable in any possible way. And then also, looking at it for PvP, it's like, it's a little more interesting, but remember that PvP damage is halved. So it's hard further again. So it's just, this set is so bad, I wouldn't even look at it. The only positive that can come from this set is that you can deconstruct it for Arctazan sprockets, which I'm pretty sure I've got some in the craft bag or whatever. Yeah, sprockets here. Look at them. Pretty expensive. So you can deconstruct them for these. That's probably the only reason I would ever get this set, personally. Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention, this one comes from Western Skyrim or Blackreach, which requires Greymore. You can buy it, though. I wouldn't, personally. And same thing, I wouldn't buy this either, but it comes from the Reach and Arctazan Cavern. So yeah, both of these are the overland ones that you can buy. But yeah, as I said, wouldn't recommend it. Jailer. When you take a really hard hit, you get Major Vitality. So quite similar to Radiant Bastion, where it incentivizes taking big hits. Now, this would be a pretty good starting tank set. If this didn't come from fucking Moonhunter Keep, I don't understand why they fucking do this. Anyway, not worth it, in my opinion. High risk for a reward that realistically you can just get from a few skills, one of them being really easy to get. So if we go to scribing, go to Wield Soul, the first scribing skill that you get for free. Down into Affix Vitality. You can get this from just basically completing the scribing questline, which is really easy. And then you go to Reaper's March to the Mage's Guild in Rolka, and Vitality is just sitting on a box just out the back. Because of that reason, look at this, like, Major Vitality for 10 seconds, you don't need to take damage for it to affect you, and 10 seconds, how long is Vitality on this? It's 8 seconds, so it's even worse. Yeah, don't get this. Also, there's two other ones you can look at, right? If we go Nightblade Siphoning, Soul Shred, one of the morphs is Soul Siphon. Applies Major Vitality to everyone in a 28-meter radius, only for 4 seconds, but your whole fucking group from an ult that is realistically not that expensive. So that's really strong as well. And then, not even that, that's probably like the weaker of the two. This is the better one. Fucking Bone Surge. Bone it up. Like, get a synergy that gives your team, 6 people, but yeah, still 6 people, Major Vitality for 6 seconds. Like, why the fuck did they make this set? I do not understand. Why did they make it the way it is? I don't get it. Because yeah, that amount of damage, that is a lot. I just don't understand. Because yeah, like, usually tanking, just after block mitigation and all that amount of damage is just like mitigated a lot anyway. So you really have to get hit really hard for that to actually do anything. So yeah, don't get this. It's not worth it. Maybe when Major Vitality used to be much stronger and like before it was easier to get, maybe, but nowadays, yeah, it's just not good. And then Savage Werewolf. So melee light attacks will bleed the enemy. It deals 1k damage every 2 seconds. Not a lot, especially since light attacks only apply to a single enemy. In like most cases, there are some circumstances where you can apply it into a group. This used to be a lot better, but it was nerfed to smithereens, and bleed damage used to bypass resistances, but now it doesn't. It's just way too weak now, and the melee restriction just makes it not very good. Yeah, just like the other ones, it just feels like another set that was just left behind and forgotten about. And just like, there's so many sets to balance, and yeah, it's just been left behind, basically. So yeah, that's all the golden stuff. Maarselok, maybe worth it. Everything else, just yeah, forget it exists. Alright, now onto Fala Ool. So I do apologize, I was messing around with this lead before, but we've got the Cultsmith's Water Trough, and we've got the Infinite Tome Cover leads. So, I'll start with this one, because it's like, alphabetically, this should be at the top. This comes from the Callendale Public Dungeon bosses. I think this is not worth buying because that is a public dungeon. It is in Solstice, but you need Solstice DLC to be able to even buy this anyway. Some of the bosses are pretty straightforward. They just have a bit more health than maybe like older public dungeon bosses. I would not bother with the group event because that boss, for some fucking reason, has more health than like veteran dungeon bosses. I tried to do it, but I was like there for 15 minutes and just gave up because it was so boring. It's not as crazy as the one in God, what is it? Is it Gord or it's the one in Necrom? The crazy fucking one. Gorn. This one's crazy. It's nowhere near as bad as that, I think. But yeah, the Griffin as well. I wouldn't fight the Griffin because that thing has one of those annoying fucking CC attacks that you can't break, like CC break, because it's like bugged. Yeah, like those public dungeon bosses, aside from that group event, they die pretty quick. Like they have less than 1 million health. So as long as you have a good build that has like self-healing, it doesn't take long to kill them. And yeah, like just Solstice is required, obviously, aside from Greymore. So yeah, wouldn't buy this because it's just, yeah, public dungeon usually pretty easy to get. So yeah, don't do the group event. It sucks. Yeah, then we've got Infinite Tome Cover. So this is for a blacksmithing station. This is for just a furnishing. It's just like a little book that you can open, and it just has like a little effect. That's basically it. This I wouldn't get either. In order to get this, you need to open chests in Infinite Archive and kill the Marauders, the same way you'd get like the Archival Fortunes. Just like with all the other options for like the Archival chests and the Marauders, the odds are you'll buy this, you'll do the lead, like excavate the lead, and then you come in here to get more Archival Fortunes to buy more of this stuff, and you'll end up getting the lead again. So I would only, like, if this is the last of the 3 leads that you need and you want this book, then buy it. But other than that, just save your fortunes for other stuff, and the odds are you'll get this as you're getting more fortunes. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend this either. Doesn't look like there's any fragments this week. The Auradon is the treasure map. Wouldn't get this. Auradon treasure maps are usually pretty cheap. And there's not really any seriously good stuff from Auradon as far as I'm aware, unless you want one of the furnishings in particular. Archival riddles, same as old, same thing as always. Big-eared ginger kitten. Don't buy this at fortunes. Look how cheap it is on guild stores. Like, just buy a bunch of these for 2,000 gold. Like, it's not that bad. A low texture Khajiit table. Yeah, not worth that much. Necrom dresser as well. Not worth that much either. The other one, the Alinor drapes, is worth a little bit more. So yeah, if you want that, it's available here. Just remember, this is all bind on pickup. You can't sell this stuff. We've got, for the scripts, we've got Expedition, Mangle, Multi-Target. Multi-Target's a pretty cool one to put on the dual-wield one. Sorry, I'm trying to remember what the fuck it's called. The Bouncing Blade, Traveling Knife, this one. Multi-Target turns it into an AoE spammable. Which, it's... If you want something, like... It's not really relevant anymore. Like, maybe when they add more stuff to the Tamriel Tomes challenges, they'll do a scribing kills one, because they're adding some of the stuff from Endeavors now. This is probably one of the best for scribing kills, because it's instant, as opposed to a lot of the other AoE ones, which are not. And it's got a pretty good range, and you can use this from like range. It's not a melee one, and it's around the target. It's not around you. So if you throw it into a dude that's like surrounded by shit, it just hits a bunch of stuff. So yeah, in my opinion, that could be good to look at. But I would probably buy this as gold when it comes out on the Scholarium instead of here. Mangle, pretty good one. If you can get your hands on it as well. And it's not worth that many fortunes anyway. So, yeah, maybe look at this one. Because I use this on Trample. Because, yeah, Trample gets Mangle. And Trample can realistically go a very long way forward and hit a lot of stuff. And you hit him with Mangle. It's basically like a proc set that applies like a 10% damage debuff. Really, really good. Like, when I say that, I mean, it's like it just takes away 10% of the enemy's health every single time. It's like it's really helpful. Expedition, not really too relevant. You can get that from a lot of other stuff, and like most classes have it on skills anyway. Gladiator's Tenacity. This one, I'm pretty sure it is only used on like a very few skills. On Torchbearer and Ool Leads, and it just reduces damage taken. 30% for 2.2 seconds. The only thing is, this has got a cast time. So I thought, maybe you can use this to like mitigate a bunch of damage when you block, but you can't block when it's because it's a cast time one. So yeah, Ool Leads, 8% for 6 seconds, also interesting. But yeah, I don't think that's used very often either. Troll King is the monster helm. Medium armor is the equipment. If you get aggressive, can be very... usually it's very expensive to buy. Just remember, again, it's buy and pick up though. And then, yeah, regeneration lilac purple. I think this is what takes the place of the fragment this week. And then we've got the Spotted Towers and Waters of Oblivion for the 2 books here. Alright, onto scripts. We've got Savagery and Prophecy, Disease Damage, Generate Ultimate, and Leeching Thirst. Adds a heal a percentage of damage done. This one's quite interesting. The only issue is, just like with Gladiator's Tenacity, I'm pretty sure this one only affects a very few amount of scripts, of grimoires. So, Traveling Knife and Smash. The only problem is, because this is a... oh, sorry, it's a signature, my bad. Because it's a signature, actually, run this on multi-target and just like any affix script. I guess just run Savagery if you want. This is a good like spamble to replace. It's like a good stamina variation of one of my favorite AoE healing spambles. Drain Power Morph to Sap Essence. It's basically like a ranged version of this that costs stamina. I really like the sound of that, because nothing makes me happier than having an AoE skill that heals me while it deals damage. It's great. So that combo is actually great. The only thing is, that's probably the only one I would use, because yeah, Smash, in my opinion, isn't all that great. Because it's got a very short cast time, but it's just, yeah, it's just in front of you as opposed to multi-target, which you can hit enemies from far away. Alright, as for the other stuff, Savagery and Prophecy. Personally, I would just either use this on potions. I would use this with skills like Grim Focus on the Assassination skill line. It's one of the best damage dealer skill lines, and you want to use that skill anyway, and it comes with this buff, so usually I don't really bother with this. But yeah, if you do want this from something, this is a good time to get it. Disease Damage, it's good for a stamina build, especially if you do like public dungeons, because Disease Damage as a status effect, it just adds like AoE damage when it applies a status effect. Generate Ultimate is this is actually different from Heroism. I've only just learned. It only applies to Torchbearer and Mender's Bond. Mender's Bond can be interesting if you use that, because it gives ultimate. But it transfers one ultimate from you to the ally. I don't know if that's actually going to be very good. This one is interesting because it actually applies to your allies as well. Yeah, beneficial signature and affix scripts apply to you and your allies as well. So that could be an interesting one if you use heal on the Torchbearer. But other than that, we don't really see any reason to use it. So yeah, that's everything that should be. So as always, if you have any questions about anything here, if you want to know more, if I made a mistake with something and you can confirm that it's not true or whatever, yeah, just absolutely put a comment in. If you've got any stories about any of the sets here, I'd love to hear them as well. So yeah, but I'll leave it there. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to your support as always. I wish you all a good weekend. And yeah, take care for now.